Hello everybody, Jillian here, your friendly dietitian, weight loss dietitian, and entrepreneur and mom, and I blog at jillianmcmullen.com. And as promised, it is a little bit after noon Eastern time, and I'm going to talk to you guys for the next few minutes on ways to tackle excess hunger after you have successfully lost some weight. And it's really not fair, is it? After you've finally tackled weight loss, now your body is going to start fighting you on it. And that is really one of the things that really, it's like a sucker punch. I see it over and over and over again. People will successfully lose weight, and then now their metabolism is slowing down because there's less of you to maintain. And it's also your body's way of protecting you from losing too much weight. But then on top of it, if you read my post from early this morning, your hormones start getting all out of whack to tell you that you need to eat more, and also kind of delaying that feeling of fullness so that you end up eating more as well, because it's basically your body's way of trying to get you to gain that weight back. And it is very, very easy to gain it back at lightning speed and then keep going. And you may have experienced that in your life. So, hey Lane, yeah, go ahead, watch the replay. So thank you guys that are joining me, and of course I always appreciate the replay viewers as well. So I'm going to get into it. There's three things that I have seen that really help combat this. My live yesterday, I talked a lot about the hormones, so I'm not going to go into that. But let's talk about what do you do about it. So the first one, of course, there are some diet strategies. And this is where protein really comes into play. Now, when I talk about protein, I'm not saying cut out carbs and do only protein, because what will happen if you do that is it will be very effective at decreasing your hunger. If you've ever done an Atkins type diet, you will go into ketosis, and you probably weren't very hungry at all, because when you go into that kind of a state, it does cut your appetite, and it's really, really effective. Problem is it's not typically a way of eating for the rest of your life, and you end up regaining the weight back really, really fast when you go back to eating carbohydrates, which is fruit, dairy, yogurt, any kind of breads, pastas, all of those types of foods that basically aren't meat or fat. So usually people aren't committed to eating only meat and fat for the rest of their life, and it's just not realistic. So yeah, it's effective, but not for long term. So what I mean is the magic number seems to be around 30 grams of protein for each meal. So breakfast, lunch, and dinner, 30 grams of protein. And the thing, a lot of times people end up not doing a lot of protein at breakfast because we're doing like bagels and cereal and toast, and those are just carby foods. So we don't do a lot at breakfast, and then we might have, I don't know, 10 or 20 grams max at lunch. But then at dinner we have 60 to 80 grams of protein. So all of our protein and calories are lumped at dinner, and we don't really have much during the day, and that's not really helpful. So what I'm telling you to do is kind of balance it out and shift more up earlier in the day. And 30 grams probably doesn't mean a lot to you if you've never counted them before, but what that means is breakfast might be a good protein shake, or maybe a 2-egg omelet with cheese. Greek yogurt's got about 15 grams of protein in it, so that would give you half of the protein. But research has really shown that somebody who starts with 30 grams of protein at breakfast eats less later in the day. So making sure you get 30 grams of protein at each meal, and you don't go more than 5 hours without eating. So if there's more than 5 hours between your meals, you're going to include a high protein snack between. So a high protein snack would be something around 8 to 10 grams of protein. So like a cheese stick, a yogurt, a hard-boiled egg, maybe even beef jerky, you know, things that are pretty quick on the run type things. So a lot of times we'll have breakfast maybe at 7, but we don't eat lunch till 1. 6 hours might be too long. So plan a 10 o'clock snack. Something, you know, and a lot of times dinner, or between lunch and dinner, there's a long time. So if you have lunch at 12, but you're not having dinner till 7, you're going to want a snack in between there. The reason is that, again, you're trying to keep fuel in the furnace. If you're going too long between meals, then your metabolism's going to slow down and your body's going to be really good at conserving energy. So our metabolisms in our bodies are not designed for weight loss, and you're trying to beat the system, so to speak. So if you're going too long without eating, your body does going to kind of put in protective mechanisms, and then you're going to end up being starving at the next meal. So that's the first one, is diet, making sure you get enough protein in. It takes longer to digest. It's going to stick with you longer. Even if you've lost weight, people find that that's kind of going to turn off the hunger signals a little bit better. Now, the second way that is a little bit more, it's not a little bit, it's a lot more permanent, that is appropriate for people that are at that point that they just dieted way too much in their life. This is the option for the person that would be, they're eating really well, they have done everything in the book 3 times, and now they're kind of at a turning point in their life where they have been told, if you don't do something, your life expectancy is really low, and their quality of life is really low. And that's, I'm talking about weight loss surgery. And the reason that the reason why this would help your hunger level is not only that it makes your surgery, and I'm not going to go into the whole details about surgery, but the reason that it cuts your hunger is not just because you have a smaller stomach, although you do. Our stomachs are about the size of a football. After weight loss surgery, your stomach is about the size of an egg or a golf ball. So our stomachs are what produces those hunger hormones, and those hunger hormones turn off or on in response to eating. The part of the stomach that gets removed in weight loss surgery is the part that creates the hunger hormone ghrelin. So when you take that away, your body can't produce the hunger hormone anymore. And so although you can't eat very much after weight loss surgery, you're also not feeling hungry. So that's why when people have surgery, if you know anybody who's had it, usually the people around them and their family and friends feel a lot worse and more guilty about eating more around them than they do, because they're not bothered by eating, you know, an egg for a meal and being done, because they're more than full, more than satisfied, and they weren't hungry to begin with. They're eating to live. You know, that's really the real definition of eating to live. They're eating because they have to, and they're taking food like it's their medicine. So that's like your permanent way of cutting hunger for good. The last way, which I have worked with people a lot on, is sometimes if you lose a lot of weight. So if you're somebody who loses, I talked yesterday about losing between 10 and 20% of your weight. Once you lose 20% of your weight, a lot of times losing that much weight doesn't really matter how much protein you eat. You're still really, really now combating your body's natural built-in mechanisms to protect you from weight loss and starving to death. So there are natural supplements that you can take. There's also prescription medications that you can take. And if there's a lot of times people have heard things like the grapefruit diet, or you know, there's a lot of different things out there. And I did a blog post on this a while ago, but grapefruit actually does have an appetite suppressing effect. And the deal though is that you have to get it in a very, very concentrated form. If you just eat a grapefruit with every meal, it's not going to be concentrated enough to have that weight loss effect. Now, these faddish type diets out there really took that concept and ran with it. So what they did is they told you to eat a grapefruit, but also a low carb diet. And it was really the low carb diet that cuts appetite in those types of diets. But there are essential oils and supplements that are very, very effective for cutting appetite. You can use pure essential oils in your water to drink that will cut your appetite, because one drop is going to be the equivalent of an essential oil, is going to be the equivalent of like 30, the juice of 30 grapefruits, you know, something around that line. Just squeezing a grapefruit or squeezing even like a lemon in your water is very healthy for you, but it's probably not going to give you that same effect that you're wanting. And so there is a natural supplement that I recommend to people, that I've worked with people before. Amy comes a lot, usually comes on here a lot, and she won't mind me telling you this story. She's lost about 105 pounds now using a supplement made with peppermint, ginger, grapefruit, and cinnamon. And so cinnamon's another one we talk a lot about that regulates your blood sugar levels. And so when your blood sugar levels are regulated, you're not going to have those peaks where your blood sugar raises and then you crash. And so now you want to eat sugar. And so when we want to eat sugar, or, you know, when our blood sugar crashes, we want to eat sugar. And so what do we go for? The vending machine or caffeine, sugary caffeine, sodas. You know, we're not usually looking for salads or grilled chicken when that happens. And so I think a lot of people go through their day up and down, up and down, up and down, looking for cookies, and then they crash, looking for a soda, and then they're back up, and then they crash, looking for something else, and then they crash. And that's kind of like their whole day. And the key is to kind of keep your blood sugar at an even keel. And so if you're eating a lot of, you know, enough protein, you're balancing your meals throughout the day, not going more than 5 hours apart, and you're drinking enough water, and, you know, doing things like adding the concentrated cinnamon, you know, looking into these other options, exploring other options, then it is very, very possible to combat the excessive hunger that comes along with weight loss. But you just have to know going into it, your body is not going to like it. And this is why I just, it gets me upset when people say, or just think that it's a lifestyle choice and that you can just wake up and have enough willpower and you'll be able to get to the weight you want to get to, because it's not true. Our bodies are not designed to work that way. And so I just want to make sure that at least I'll start spreading that message so people understand that our bodies are very much more complicated than that. And obesity is a chronic disease. It just wasn't recognized until 2013 to be like that. And so somebody commented on my post yesterday and asking why isn't it seen like that? And it's because the medical community didn't see it like that until 2013. So that was only 4 years ago. So anyways, if you want more information, feel free to reach out to me. I also have a Facebook group that is, I think we're at 130 members now, of supportive, mostly women. There's some guys in there too, but awesome group of ladies that are all on the same mission of losing weight, being healthier. You are certainly welcome to join if you are looking for something like that, or just head over to my blog, JillianMcMullen.com. Thank you for joining. Thanks, Dee, for coming on. And as always, thanks for the replay viewers. I will talk to you tomorrow.